Alright, Nintendo showed off their new Super Mario Odyssey trailer, and there was one character in it that was very interesting. Pauline, a character that we have seen before in older games, and now she returns. But how did she evolve in terms of story, use, game design, and looks over time? Well, let's look at their development throughout the series, since now would be the best time to do so. The story of Pauline, seen here in the Odyssey trailer, started long ago back in the days of the arcade machines. The lady made her debut appearance in the 1981 arcade game Donkey Kong as one of the first damsels in distress in any video game made before that time. She's kidnapped by a gorilla known as Donkey Kong, who was owned by Jumpman, which is Mario. And of course Mario has to save her, since he is in love with her. She was the very first. Princess Peach didn't even exist back then. Now the reason why they created her was to give the player motivation to beat Donkey Kong and go up the building. It gives the player a goal. You even get to see a little cutscene with a heart when you get to her, and then Donkey Kong takes her away and you see a broken heart. Besides that, the game is quite basic. It's very old of course, and back then they couldn't do a whole lot with the games. They just didn't have the console power. But she is the very first Mario voice, since she says help help in Donkey Kong for the Super Game Boy. Which is pretty cool, and new for the series. However, things changed a lot after this. While Mario and Pauline's relationship was implied to be romantic during the Donkey Kong arcade game, and outright stated in most homeport manuals, Pauline was soon dropped as Mario's love interest and replaced with Princess Peach. But why? Well, they wanted to make a new series called Super Mario Bros. And for this, they needed a new character to rescue, and it needed to be a princess. This became Princess Peach. So while it was logical that they dropped her, it was kind of sad to see her go. She was the original one after all. And something interesting at the end of Donkey Kong is that Pauline gives Mario a mushroom, and that he grows. Weird. Could it be that she knows about the Mushroom Kingdom? Maybe. But still, she was replaced. However, they did do something new with her. She was featured in a Donkey Kong and Mario spin-off game. Pauline makes her next reappearance after a 12-year absence in Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2: March of the Minis. The game starts with the grand opening of the Super Mini Mario World theme park, where Pauline is Mario's guest of honor. While their relationship status goes unmentioned in the game, the manual states that Mario and Pauline are simply good friends at this time. In this game, they go back to the setting of the old Donkey Kong arcade game, since Donkey Kong kidnaps her. When he saw her, he fell in love and presented her a mini Donkey Kong as a gift. But she ends up going with the mini Mario, and then he becomes mad. Now the game is all about puzzles, but to be honest, it doesn't really matter for Pauline. They clearly only brought her back to recreate the scenario of the old arcade game. After this, she reappears a bunch of times in more Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, so she was mostly used there in the more modern games, only to create the old setting. Besides that, they don't add anything to her in any way. The two just fight over her. That's it. However, she keeps trusting Donkey Kong for some reason. And that's because it's kind of based off King Kong, especially the first game where this scenario plays out. Besides the fact that Donkey Kong is fitting for this, there is also a certain psychological effect in the mix here. Stockholm Syndrome, a condition that causes hostages to develop a psychological alliance with their captors as a survival strategy during captivity. So essentially, you start to work together and care for the one who kidnapped you. It's weird, but it certainly happens. This is what happened in the film King Kong, and the same also sort of happens in Mario vs. Donkey Kong games. While Pauline does not return Donkey Kong's affections, it is implied that she finds his gestures sweet. So that does say something. So they certainly create an interesting effect here, and it also gives the whole story a bit more depth. However, now with Super Mario Odyssey for the Nintendo Switch, they bring her back, and this time with a more important and bigger role. In a recent interview, Shigeru Miyamoto said that Pauline probably resides in New Donk City as well. But the Nintendo E3 2017 livestream shows a human character mentioning a Mayor Pauline, and we can even see her in the trailer on a rooftop. So she is certainly back, and this new role as a mayor of New Donk City is a huge one, since this city is one of the many worlds of the game. And she even sings the Super Mario Odyssey song from the trailer, making this also one of the first themes where you hear singing and words, which is quite new. Using Pauline for this is really cool. It at least shows that she has some relevance in terms of the overall story, since she sings about the Odyssey, the big story element. For the people who don't know, the Odyssey is the ship that Mario uses to get around. She's also seen in the E3 demo giving Mario a quest where he needs to look for musicians in the city, and thanks to this, you start to explore it. New Donk features many typical things found in a city, such as fire hydrants, street lamps, and stoplights. There are taxis driving through the city, which Mario is able to bounce off in order to gain extra jump height. Many of the streets and some of the billboards and advertisements in the city are named after characters from the Donkey Kong franchise. Additionally, there are some red girders that appear in New Donk City as a reference to the original Donkey Kong arcade game. The city is located on an elevated platform above many other buildings. New Donk City is possibly where the wedding between Peach and Bowser will take place, as there are billboards announcing it found throughout the city. So in terms of story, we can expect a lot from her. She is the mayor of an important area of the game. But there's something odd about all of this. We see so many references in the city to Donkey Kong, and Pauline is so far only seen in games with Mario and Donkey Kong in it, so maybe he will also appear in Odyssey. Who knows? Now, another interesting thing in this game is the fact that both Princess Peach and Pauline are seen in it, both of which are damsels in distress after all. Well, Peach at least. We don't know about Pauline yet. But they dumped her in favor of Peach after all, so she must fulfill a new role then. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense to include her. It's something we'll most likely find out when playing the game. But it's certainly an interesting scenario. And this will most likely also be a game where they expand on Pauline's story. She has been gone from the series for a long time after all. And in all those previous games, they didn't really do anything with her in terms of that. So we will just have to wait and see. Alright everyone, we finally hit 100k, so we're going to celebrate of course. We're going to do an extra long live stream on Twitch, and soon I will do a Draw My Life video. Now my schedule is really full, since it's also my birthday this upcoming Saturday. But the extra long stream will probably happen next week, and I will announce it all at the end of videos and on my other social media, so keep an eye on that. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. Super Mario Odyssey looks amazing, and if you want to watch more videos, click the annotations on the screen right now.